So we take a moment to go deeper. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. And we breathe, knowing that each and every breath we take, each and every breath we give, is that cycle of unending source presence. Because our breath is the very breath of God itself. Every single breath is that breath from the oneness, bringing in that unending possibility, bringing in all of that remembrance of love and support. And every exhalation, we allow ourselves to release tension, to release any stress or strife, to, release any attachment to thoughts that might not let our energy flow. We allow our breath to be the reminder of the breath of God within. The reminder of how the world moves outward from us, inward through us. We bring our attention from the thoughts and the activities outside to the thoughts and the activities inside, and to the sacred space that meets them in here. In here, as in this room, in this sanctuary, wherever that room might be that you are sharing this meditation with us. And in here, as in inside each of our individual consciousnesses. Each of us an individuation of the presence of God unlimited. Each of us here to do what only we can do in this world of time and space. Here to open to the guidance of the source presence of God. So we just breathe for a moment in that knowing that wherever we are, God is. And that the underlying truth underneath any experience is that all is ultimately well. Whatever we are brought to, we walk through with the guidance of the divine. We just take a moment for that knowing. Even if there's something in our lives right now that we're really unsure about where it's going or what the solution is or what might be the next step, we just take a moment to sit in the knowing that we are inside God. The answers, the solutions, the next steps, they're all right here. They're all best choices and best actions. All of those are right in front of us when we first take this time to center, following that inner source guidance that is always here. So we take just a moment to move into a silent space with that inner source. Maybe there's something that we're dreaming of. Maybe there's something to be heard. Maybe there's a blessed moment of silence as we move into the silence. And then with the next breath, we just let whatever has moved through, we let it be within that source guidance. We let it be because we simply will be letting the unfolding happen as we move forward from this moment. We know that wherever we go from this space, God is already there. We are already guided. We are already loved. We are already perfectly moving through whatever we have been brought to. So we gratefully, gleefully embrace the presence of God within as we move forward into whatever comes next. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Is this home? Am I here for a day or forever? Shut away from the world until who knows when? Oh, but then, as my life has been altered once, it can change again. Build higher walls around me, change every lock and key. Nothing lasts, nothing holds all of me. Wow, what a statement, right? And so I guess my question, and that's what I was seeing in that is, so do we build higher walls? Or do we make a longer table? Or do we change locks and keys? And do we give anyone else a key? Do we share our alarm code with anyone else in the world? What do we do when our sense of home shifts? What do we do when something changes in our world? When I was thinking of this month of understanding, it's wonderful to understand other people, and I always try so hard to find where someone else is coming from or what they might mean, and I always try so hard to communicate what it is that I mean and what I'm trying to say, and I work and I toil and I try. You can't control what anyone else hears when you say something. And if there are, I don't know, maybe 80 of us in here this morning, and maybe another 25 online, there are about 100 different versions of anything I'm saying right now. And during the week, there will be that many more versions, whoever hears it during the week, including me. Because if I get to the point today where I say something that I go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that, I will go back and listen and go, what did you do? Right? And when we know better, we do better. And I don't know about you guys, but I have found in my life my biggest tool and key to learning what might be better and doing better is often my deepest vulnerability, my willingness to make some really ridiculous mistakes, and then my willingness, once I have made what I would call or feel is a mistake, to go back and pick it back up and examine it and decide what it might mean or what I could do with it, for it, about it, around it. If we knew better, we'd do better. When we know better, we do better. And what can be missing in some of that learning process is our self-compassion or our compassion for others as they're trying to do better when they're learning better. I would encourage all of us to work with that possibility. I spent most of yesterday with my kids over in Loxahatchee. I got as far as my daughter's house, didn't go all the way into West Palm this time, but so we hung out and we spent some time together, and my two children are 13 years apart. And it is a fascinating dynamic to watch how absolutely certain my 27-year-old son is that he knows all there is to know about everything there is to know. and my 40-year-old daughter, who stands back quietly with a semi-smile on her face and watches and listens and only says something about anything after there's already been a little bit of a discussion and an exploration. And usually what she says, or at least yesterday what she says was, "Mom will figure it out." Because most of the topic of the discussion yesterday, well, not most of it, but a good portion was the fact that I've had a recent breakup, that I have had conversation with my ex every single day, that we are deciding what the breakup means and where it is bringing us in our lives, that we have decided that everything happens for a reason, that there is reason in this, and the reason may be that we both just learn a whole lot about ourselves and part ways, or the reason might be that we'll end up back together. And what I shared with my children yesterday was that on the 27th, I'm going to head back to Tennessee to see what some of those answers might be in person. My son said, well, I'm not going to tell you what my son said. I mean, isn't it the thing? And I was talking with John last night, and we were talking about how when you say something to someone in a moment of anger about someone else that you're angry with, and you guys have a real good time talking about what a not so nice person they are, and then you move forward in time and things smooth out, and, you know, we're over 60 now. Having a boyfriend at 60 is very different than having a boyfriend at 20. Your entire framework is completely different. Absolutely different. Goals and intentions are completely different. And you have become set and ingrained in certain life patterns that so many people over the age of even 40, which gets me, will say, well, that's just who I am. Try to bring two "that's just who I am's" together into a relationship when they've been "that's just who I am" for a good 40 years of adulthood. It's a very interesting journey, as I like to call it, fascinating. And Mel wants to strangle me every time I say it. No, yeah. But this is the thing. What are the things that are happening in our lives happening for? You decide. Why do they happen? What do they mean? What are they for? We each individually decide those things. My son may be in a place where, and he's very protective of his mama, you know, mothers and sons and fathers and daughters, very protective of his mama, and he says, well, I kind of knew you were probably going to head towards something like this because you're you. And I said to my son yesterday, what does it mean that you hit a brick wall? We talked about this week in one of the discussion groups. Does hitting a brick wall mean the journey has ended? Does it mean you stand at the brick wall and decide whether you turn left or right to go around the brick wall? Do you maybe look up and decide to scale it? What does the brick wall mean? You guys know me. A brick wall to me is like, oh, so do we take the mortar out and separate each brick? Maybe we cut windows in it. Maybe we plant flowers in front of it and go the other way. I love brick walls. Brick walls are all these new opportunities to go, oh, this is juicy. What do we do with this? I just happen to find another human that kind of thinks the same way. So maybe I'll have a great friend. Maybe I'll have a boyfriend again. Maybe and I'm driving this time. He said, well, that's a really long drive. And I said, yeah, and I don't have to wait 3 days for a plane if I decide. When we know better, we do better. We empower ourselves to make the decisions we want to make. We make new and different, better mistakes. We allow ourselves to go through these growing spaces and places with an open-ended curiosity instead of a sledgehammer and a wrecking ball. Right? Nobody is all good or all bad. When you're dating in your 60s or 70s or 80s, it's about finding that person that matches with all your little weirdnesses and tolerates them and doesn't force theirs on you. And then who knows, maybe like our beloved Joe and Lynn, you'll get married at 81. Right? No, that does not mean I'm looking to get married. Just in case that was, no. And, see, how do we do better? So, what can we see through what we knew and what we were so sure of to what life did with what we thought we knew? For me, any time in my life that I say, I will never, or I will always, the universe goes, ooh, let's play with that, shall we? I've learned I don't never and always rarely leave my mouth because I know they're an invitation. It's a gauntlet thrown down for the universe. And I love gauntlets, and I don't always need to run them, right? You know, I mean, we get to choose. I saw this thing this week, and it was wonderful because I have this too occasional these days pattern of boredom eating. You know, I'll eat at a different time in the day maybe than I normally would because work has taken me in different places. And so then I'll eat my whatever my lunch is, and then, I would just like a little something sweet after that. Right? Then I eat the something sweet and I go, I have peanuts. And then I eat something salty. And I go, but I really don't want to end on the salty note. I would really like, right? So it's this back and forth. Well, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty, a little bit of savory, a little bit, this is crunchy. That's soft. It's something to do. And I found this thing this week that I saw that was so beautiful. And the woman said, okay, so I have a way to be new in a pattern for you if you would like to take it. So if it's not food for you, if it's something else, if it's that next item on Amazon, whatever it is, when you get to that point where your body knows, like my body goes, okay, we're full. And then I go, but I ended on salty. Just two more bites of sweet, and then I'll finish. My body is going, thanks, I'm done. Full, good. My head is going, but sweet. So we have this invitation, and she suggests for food. Now, we're going to have to think about different things if it's other patterns in your life, if it's a drink, it's a whatever. But there's ways to shift this that I think it would work for almost anything in our lives. She said, if it's food, you take both of your hands, find a place where you're stopping, think about whatever that food item is. You might even have already gotten it and put it in front of you. And take your hands and put them on your belly. And take a minute and look all the way around the room. Beautiful tree decorated for 4th of July. Lots of amazing people here. I love the color of these walls. Oh my goodness, it's very bright in this light. And take note of the room and all of the contents of this room for just about a minute. And then think, would this next bite of food actually feel good to my stomach? Or would it just be a momentary thing for my taste buds so that I can stop thinking about what I might think about while I'm eating? Do I really want the next bite of food? Or am I bored? Or am I listless? Or am I avoiding something? Or am I dodging a thought? What's happening? Am I just eating out of habit because it's what I do? I sweet, I salty, I sweet, I salty, and whoops, I can't remember which one I ended on, and so let's keep going. It's making the unconscious conscious. So if it's a drink, if it's an argument, if it's that next debate point that you can't wait to show somebody else how wrong they are. Take a minute. You got 60 seconds. The world's not going to end. Put your hands on your belly or your heart or your mind or whatever it is, and look around for a minute and breathe and be present in the presence of God, and be gentle and genuine in your inquiry. Would this really make me feel any better? Would it solve anything? Would it forward my cause in some way? Why is it that this is the next thing I want to do? And then decide. Because it's up to us in the end whether we keep going on the sweet and salty train, or whether we take a moment and get off at the station we're at and decide to move on with something else. I make overthinking an Olympic sport. And sometimes for me it's not food, it's the 758th time today I'm going round and round with that thing in my head. I don't gain any new information often going round and round and round in my own head. I mean, I'm very chatty, but So what can we do to break that cycle of that spin, the same old tired thing that keeps going round and round and round that's unconscious? How do we make the unconscious conscious? And part of that is to pause, to take that power pause. You're inside God. We can change. I was looking yesterday, driving back and forth, and I had never thought of this, but one day my late husband pointed it out. Especially on highways, you can see it a lot, where you'll see like there's a line in the road that's been cut into the road or carved into the road that's probably 1/4 of an inch thick or deep. And you watch these lines, and like if you're paying attention, they'll go straight for a little while and then off the side of the road they go, or they'll go straight for a while and off the side of the road they'll go. And I had never really thought about those lines, but sometimes when I'm a passenger in a car, I'll kind of sit and watch them. And they, keep me. Well, that's where someone rode on the rim of a tire. And some people can ride miles and carve these lines into the highway for miles before they maybe even realize they had the flat. Because I don't know about you, if you've ever, I was always terrified to get a flat in a car. I thought, oh my gosh, if I ever get a flat tire, I'm going to have a 7-car pileup and I'm going to die in a blaze of glory and, all that. No, flat tire, your car just starts to feel a little different. It takes a minute to realize, oh, I've just had a blowout and my car is handling different. Your car doesn't flip over or, fall off the side of the road or anything. Where are we going through our lives right now that we're stuck in that line and we haven't pulled over to the side to do some maintenance yet? Where do we pull over to the side to do the maintenance? That's that time in the silence, the time in meditation. That's the ability to take a pause and reassess. When I know better, I do better. This is the 35th year I've had this same behavior pattern. I haven't liked it for 30 of those 35. Why do I keep doing this? Because it's you. Yeah. And because it's an unquestioned you. Because it's a you and a habit that you're not going, you know what? I'm driving this. I'm the one driving this car. I think I need to pull over for a little maintenance and look into why I'm carving the line in the road. Are there parts of it that serve me? Is there something that serves me when I sit there and go sweet, salty, sweet, salty? I'm just not thinking. It's when I'm letting my mind go into this non-thought space and stuff is just happening around me. Well, we kind of need that sometimes, but do we need to be doing something that doesn't serve us in that time? No. Go get a hot shower, take a walk, make a cup of tea. Do something that's a little bit different that helps you shift and shake yourself awake to that pattern. It might mean that you need to rearrange some furniture in your house. I mean, we've talked before about how many things in your life, this is a wonderful investigation, how many things in your life are just this annoying? Right? I mean, yeah. They're not annoying enough that you're going to take an hour out of your day to do some sort of problem-solving thing, but every single day or every third day or whatever it is, you're doing this thing and it's just kind of annoying. Either your coffee cup is a shelf too high, and every time you go to get your coffee cup, you're reaching and you don't feel like reaching. Rearrange the stinking cabinet. Right? Oh, I don't like my medicine holders. Get some new ones. There are some things that we do in our life that we put up with 1,000 little annoyances in a day that we walk through and we have these unquestioned things. One little annoying thing is not a big deal. If 32 things in your day mildly annoy you, you're going to spend a segment of your day mildly annoyed. There are some things that you can change. There are some things that you can't. But even if you could change 9 of the 32 things, that shifts the energy of those parts of your day. When we know better, we do better. And sometimes we have to shake ourselves awake to find out that we've been asleep. Sometimes we have to run into a brick wall in relationship, in work, in whatever it is, in parenting, whatever it is, to realize, God, I really hate this every single time we keep doing this. Every single time is an invitation for a change. If you hear or feel yourself thinking or saying every single time, let yourself know that's an invitation for a change. That's an invitation to shift something inside so that something out here shifts. We can all change and move. This is some of what I was going to talk about today, and it's just me, as Trisha just said. Yep, still me. So I started thinking yesterday on my drive back across, I was like, okay, so we can all grow and evolve and change, and we can learn and grow and change, and that's all wonderful and everything, but is there a master pattern for this? Is there a space where, has God changed? Wait, in the Bible, did God change in the Bible? So that was what I was going round and round with, driving back across the state, and I went and looked for stuff, because I know my perceptions that I have grown up with, that the God of the Old Testament, he's mean and nasty. And the God in the New Testament, oh, he loves everybody. Well, wait, if God can change, wait a minute, if God can change, well, see, that's the thing. The source of all beingness, we are the change within the source of all beingness. We are the way that source of all beingness and that Godness gets to move and shift and change and see how many different ways to show up as a human or a blade of grass or a leaf or an ocean or a drop of oxygen, whatever it is. We're how that happens. God doesn't change. And it's funny that the reason that God changes in the Bible, okay, breathe with me, relax your hindquarters. Just know that people wrote the Bible. Books and books and books, separated by over 1,000 years, begun in an oral tradition that wasn't even supposed to be a written language to begin with. Maybe some things might have gotten lost in translation along that way. Maybe some things might have changed, because I looked for that verse, it's in Malachi. Where is it? Malachi 3:6. For I, the Lord, do not change. Therefore you, O children of Jacob, have not perished. Return to me, and I will return to you, says the Lord. Oh my gosh, think about that for a minute. Well, first of all, it was written by a dude. Okay? And we say it's written by Malachi. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm not stressing anybody out here. Just go with me. It was written by Malachi, right? Because it's in the book of Malachi. Yeah, probably not. It was written by whoever wrote Malachi, which scholars don't think was Malachi. They think it was probably, because Malachi means my messenger. Okay? So the fact that we pull a name and we call it Malachi and we say that's the guy that wrote the book, it means a messenger of God wrote the book. And it was written, they believe, by Ezra the scribe or by Mordecai, not Malachi. But they're not really sure because, none of them were there. Because it was written almost 400 years before Jesus was born. And then it was talked about in the New Testament by Jesus, who came and poof, now we have a loving God. Except Jesus talked over and over about hell. And Jesus talked over and over about the laws and the way that the rules that we need to follow to get to God, although Jesus was supposed to be God personified, depending on what belief system you ascribe to, and was supposed to be the loving aspect of God in flesh. Why do we believe what we believe? I was not there in 430 BC. That's another thing too. When I grew up, it was BC. Then suddenly it was BCE. And I'm like, what's the difference between BC and BCE? Atheists. Because BC means before Christ. BCE means before the common era. Doggone atheists. Making us all talk different and stuff. When we know better, we do better. When we keep an open mind to learning and we get taken by these possibilities. See, they wrote these things almost 400 years before Jesus even was born. And then the New Testament is Jesus bringing the Old Testament to a new audience almost 1,000 years later. And then going, and by the way, these are the rules. You want to get through God, you go through me. But by the way, you are God, and so am I. But by the way, we're the sons and daughters, but we're also God in the flesh. Could we get more confusing with our clear descriptions? There are so many contradictions in the Bible, it will blow your mind if you try to read it. And the Bible is not the only sacred text. There are a bunch of them. And they all have amazing lessons and blessings and things that we can learn. And each one of us is living our own sacred text. This life that we are living with its lessons and blessings. If you run into a brick wall, what is it telling you to do? The answer is in you. You decide. And if you decide, along with the presence of God awareness that is in you, in God, we live and move and have our being. That says to me, I am a part of God. I don't know what it says to you. There are 100 different messages I just spoke this morning. I hope one of them is meaningful to you. And so it is.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.